Hey, this is Judah Mantell from SceneForge Studio, and in this video I'm going to go over the changes and improvements to version 0.4.0. So we actually improved or increased a version number because the stuff in this release is much more significant, and I'm super excited to share that with you today. Now, it's worth noting that I am working remotely from San Antonio, Texas, which is quite a ways away from my normal location in New York City, and that means that I'm using a remote desktop client, and therefore there might be some stuttering. Hopefully that won't show too much in the video, so just bear with me, please. Thank you. Alright, so as you can see, the first thing you'll notice is that the stage mode UI has been completely overhauled. Overall, I think it should be pretty self-explanatory, but I will walk through it now. So first thing you'll notice is that the transform controls for manipulating objects has now been moved to the top right-hand corner in a little floating section up at the top. It just makes it more kind of tucked away and out of the way, while also still being accessible. Now, let's of course talk about the icon menu on the left. So first and foremost, you'll see the Create menu. This works exactly like before. You can just drag in any object you want, and they will be in the scene. Next, we have the Import menu, which is, again, exactly like before. Next, we have the Library tab and the Visuals tab. Now, unlike before, these are now floating, resizable windows that you can put anywhere you want on your screen. It just makes it much more accessible and customizable, and now you can have both open at the same time, which is incredibly useful. Next, of course, the rest of the options are basically just the same things that were on the toolbar at the top. You have grid settings, ruler tool, viewfinder, and of course the effects menu for the editor. So that is basically an overview of the UI overhaul. Next, let's talk about a new feature that is in this release, and that is the ability to hide the ground plane. Now, the ground plane is still there, it's just invisible. So let me show that now. In the visual settings, if you go under ground settings, you can just turn off show ground, and that will hide the ground plane. Now, you might be wondering, what can this possibly be used for? Well, the most obvious solution is for space scenes, where you have an object that you want to place in your scene, and you can rotate it and create some really interesting scenes like this. So unlike before, where you might have to aim the camera up at the sky and it was a little frustrating, now you can pretty much put your camera anywhere, and you can get really cool views of your objects in your scene. Just like that. Now, shoot mode, as you see here, and storyboard, as you see here, have pretty much been unchanged, but they will be getting a similar but more minor overhaul similar to this in the future as we move into the floor plan editor that I talked about previously. So with that, that is an overview of 0.4.0. Thank you so much for watching. Now, before I go, I want to add one more thing. A lot of you guys have been emailing support at sceneforge.app, which of course goes to me, and that has been an incredibly helpful thing for the development of the app. So any bug reports you have or feature requests, if there's something you want in SceneForge that isn't there, let us know and we'll do our best to implement it. So that is incredibly helpful, and we appreciate any feedback at any time. Of course, if you don't want to email us, you can go into the settings menu and click send feedback, and that will allow you to send a feedback or bug report directly to us from within the app. This does send us your email address and system information, which just makes it even easier to help us track down bugs. And so with that, thank you so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.